If you're tackling the advanced levels of the HSK, you know that feeling. You hit a wall. Well, today we're going to unlock a really powerful study hack that uses ancient history to make modern Chinese finally click. So let's dive right in.
Okay, so let's just start with the big question. You've learned thousands of characters, you've drilled all the grammar points, but then you open an HSK 5 or 6 reading passage, and it's talking about some emperor or an ancient invention, and you're totally lost. Why does that happen?
Well, it turns out the biggest hurdle usually isn't the grammar at all. It's the context. See, those advanced texts are just packed with references to specific historical eras, and if you don't have that mental map, the words just don't connect. They lose their meaning. And that leads us to this really cool idea. Chinese history isn't just for history buffs. It's a language learner's secret weapon. Seriously, it gives you a framework, a kind of mental scaffolding that helps you figure out tough words and understand complex sentences way more intuitively. So think of this as a linguistic road trip through China's imperial past. This timeline here, that's our map. We're going to make 6 key stops, and each dynasty is going to give us clues to unlock the exact kind of vocabulary and grammar you'll see on your exams. Our first stop is all about the foundations, the Qin and the Han dynasties. I mean, these are the eras that literally built the China we know today. They unified the whole country and really forged its core identity. Now, this is where it gets fascinating. Each dynasty kind of has its own personality, and that personality shapes the language. Take the Qin Dynasty. It was all about unification and control, right? The key word is 统一, to unify, and that direct active control is perfectly mirrored in the Ba construction. Then you get the Han, which was more about establishing an identity, describing how things were invented. And what better grammar for that than the descriptive 是的 structure? And look, here's a perfect example. This sentence uses ba to show that Qin Shi Huang actively took the writing system and did something to it. He unified it. That single word, ba, emphasizes this direct handling of an object. It feels powerful, assertive, controlling, just like the Qin Dynasty itself. All right, time for the next stop on our road trip, the Golden Ages. We're rolling into the Tang and Song dynasties, and these were just incredible high points for Chinese culture, art, and amazing technological breakthroughs. But the really crucial thing to get here is the contrast between them. The Tang was a time of massive, multifaceted prosperity. The language reflects that with budan, erqie, not only this, but also that. The Song, on the other hand, was full of contradictions. Incredible technology, but constant military problems. That tension is perfectly captured by 虽然, 但是, although, but. See the difference?
So here's your mental shortcut. When you see an HSK text talking about prosperous culture, using words like fanrong for prosperous, your brain should immediately go, this feels like the Tang Dynasty. But if the text is talking about amazing inventions like gunpowder, while also hinting at military weakness, that has the signature of the Song all over it. Recognizing these themes helps you predict the vocabulary.
I mean, this sentence is the Song Dynasty in a nutshell. That Suidan Danshi structure isn't just a random grammar point you memorized. It's a historical narrative. It captures that whole complex reality of brilliant innovation living side by side with huge challenges. Okay, our final stop brings us to the last 2 imperial dynasties, the Ming and the Qing. Now, this period is full of drama. We're talking grand construction projects, incredible voyages of exploration, intense conflict, and, the end of the entire imperial system. So the Ming Dynasty was kind of the era of, and then we also did this. They built the Forbidden City, and they sent massive treasure fleets out to explore. So it just makes sense that the in addition to structure, Chula Iwai, is a perfect fit. The Qing, however, was an era defined by cause and effect, one event leading to another, ultimately leading to its downfall. That's why that formal due to therefore structure, you yu soyi, shows up all the time in texts about this period. And here it is right in action. This sentence has that formal, analytical tone you'll find all over HSK 6 texts. When you see words like 改革 for reform or 革命 for revolution, linked by this logical cause and effect grammar, a little bell should go off in your head. You can be almost certain you're reading about the late Qing Dynasty.
Okay, so we've finished our road trip. We've seen how history literally shapes the language. But now for the most important part. How do you actually use this? How do you turn this into a real study tool? Let's break it down.
The whole goal is right here. Connect those abstract vocabulary words to concrete historical eras. So instead of fan rong just being a floating word that means prosperous, it becomes prosperous, like the Tang Dynasty. Giving it that mental anchor makes recalling it and understanding it in a text so much faster and more natural.
And it's really just a simple 3-step process. First, when you start a reading passage, just scan it for names or keywords that hint at the era. Second, once you know the dynasty, recall its main theme. Was it about unification? Was it about cultural blossoming? And finally, use that theme to make a really smart guess about any new words you come across. Spot, recall, predict. That's it. So, the next time you're prepping for the HSK, don't just stare at another vocabulary list. Try to think about the stories behind the words. And I'll leave you with this final thought. What if the key to your future in the Chinese language lies deep within its incredible past?